For 32 years, I helped others heal as a nurse. I knew everything about health protocols, medication schedules, and proper patient care. But at night, I was failing myself. I'd come home exhausted after a 12-hour shift, collapse into bed, and then nothing. Just staring at the ceiling, tossing and turning, watching the clock tick toward my next shift. The irony wasn't lost on me, a healthcare professional who couldn't fix her own sleep. It wasn't until I retired that I realized something shocking. My bedroom, my supposed sanctuary, was actually sabotaging my sleep. And I had no idea. What I discovered changed everything, and it might just change everything for you too. I remember the exact moment I realized something was wrong. 3 months into retirement, I was visiting my daughter in Colorado. I slept in her guest room and had the most incredible night's sleep I'd experienced in decades. 8 solid hours. No waking up. No staring at the ceiling. At first, I thought it was the mountain air. Or maybe the relief of not having to wake up for a shift. But when I got back home to my own bedroom, a room I'd carefully decorated over years, the insomnia returned immediately. That's when it hit me. If I could sleep perfectly well in a different environment, then something in my bedroom was the problem. And as a nurse who'd spent her career observing patterns and solving problems, I decided to approach my bedroom like I would a patient case. What I discovered was both surprising and embarrassingly obvious. My bedroom, the place I spent a third of my life, had evolved over decades without any actual thought about sleep quality. It had become a multi-purpose room full of sleep disruptors that my body and brain were constantly responding to, even if I wasn't consciously aware of it. The first culprit was light. As a nurse, I knew that light affects melatonin production, our body's natural sleep hormone. But I hadn't applied this knowledge to my own bedroom. My bedside table had a digital alarm clock with bright red numbers. My TV had a standby light. The streetlight outside my window cast an orange glow through my thin curtains. And worst of all, I'd keep my phone charging right next to my pillow, where notifications would occasionally light up the room. These might seem like minor things, but to your brain, they're signals to stay awake. Our bodies evolved over thousands of years to sleep in darkness and wake with light. Even small amounts of artificial light can confuse your brain's sleep-wake cycle. The fix was surprisingly simple. I replaced my alarm clock with one that had a dimmer display. I moved my phone charging station to the bathroom. I invested in blackout curtains, not the expensive custom ones, just basic blackout curtains from a department store. And I used small pieces of electrical tape to cover the tiny LED lights on my TV and other electronics. The very first night after making these changes, I fell asleep 30 minutes faster than usual. It wasn't a complete fix, but it was a start. And it cost me less than $50. The second issue was temperature. Most sleep experts recommend keeping your bedroom between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Mine was consistently around 72, not uncomfortably warm when awake, but actually too warm for optimal sleep. During my nursing career, I'd seen how body temperature naturally drops as we fall asleep. It's part of our circadian rhythm. By keeping my bedroom too warm, I was fighting against my body's natural sleep process. But here's where it gets interesting. When I first tried lowering my thermostat to 67 degrees, I felt cold and uncomfortable. I almost gave up on the idea. Then I remembered something from my nursing days. It's not just about air temperature, it's about your body's microclimate. I kept the room cooler, but added a lightweight down comforter to create warmth around my body without overheating. This combination, cool room, warm bed, was revolutionary. I started falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer. For those who can't control their room temperature precisely, there are workarounds. A fan can help circulate air. Cooling mattress toppers are surprisingly effective. Even changing to more breathable bedding materials can make a difference. And here's something most people don't realize. Your temperature needs might change with age. As I've gotten older, I've found I'm more sensitive to overheating at night. What worked in your 30s might not work in your 60s. The third factor was noise, both too much and too little of it. My bedroom faced the street, and while I thought I'd gotten used to the occasional car passing by, my sleep tracker showed otherwise. Every time a vehicle drove past, my sleep would lighten, even if I didn't fully wake up. These micro disruptions were fragmenting my sleep quality all night long. On the flip side, when I stayed at my daughter's house in the mountains, the complete silence was actually too quiet for me. After decades of working in hospitals with constant background noise, my brain had become accustomed to some sound. The solution was a white noise machine. Not music, not nature sounds, just consistent white noise that masked the irregular sounds from outside. It created a consistent sound environment that helped my brain stay in deeper sleep stages. For those on a budget, there are free white noise apps, or even a simple fan can provide similar benefits. The key is consistency. Your brain adapts to consistent background noise much better than unpredictable sounds. Now, this next point might be controversial, but I noticed a difference, so I'll share it. When I moved all electronics away from my bed, not just because of the light they emit, but the devices themselves, my sleep improved further. There's ongoing debate about whether electromagnetic fields from electronics affect sleep. Some studies suggest they might disrupt our natural electrical signals, while others find no effect. I'm not claiming definitive science here, but in my personal experiment, creating a 3-foot electronic-free zone around my bed seemed to help. I moved my phone charging station across the room. I unplugged the lamp on my bedside table. I even moved the electric alarm clock further away, replacing it with a battery-operated one nearby. Was it psychological? Maybe. But as a nurse, I learned that sometimes you trust results even when you don't fully understand the mechanism. And my sleep tracker showed more deep sleep after making these changes. If nothing else, having my phone across the room eliminated the temptation to check it during the night, a habit I didn't even realize was disrupting my sleep until I stopped doing it. Let's talk about the foundation of sleep, quite literally. Your mattress and pillows. For years, I slept on the same mattress because it was still in good shape. It wasn't sagging visibly, so I assumed it was fine. But mattresses don't just break down visibly, they lose their support gradually. After researching, I learned that most mattresses should be replaced every 7-10 years. Mine was going on 15. When I finally replaced it, the difference was immediate. Pressure points I didn't even know I had stopped aching. I woke up with less stiffness in my back and neck. Similarly with pillows, I'd been using the same pillows for years, occasionally washing them but never replacing them. What I didn't realize was that pillows flatten over time and collect dust mites, both of which can affect sleep quality. The right pillow depends on your sleep position. As a side sleeper, I needed a thicker, firmer pillow to maintain proper neck alignment. Back sleepers typically need thinner pillows. And stomach sleepers, which sleep experts generally discourage due to neck strain, need very thin pillows if any at all. When I finally found the right mattress and pillow combination for my body and sleep style, it was like discovering a new world. Aches I had attributed to age simply disappeared, and my sleep became deeper and more restorative. Perhaps the most significant realization was about what I was doing in my bedroom besides sleeping. Over the years, my bedroom had become a multi-purpose room. I'd watch TV in bed. I'd work on my laptop. I'd pay bills. I'd scroll through social media. Sometimes I'd even eat dinner in bed on particularly exhausting days. What I didn't realize was how these activities were affecting my brain's association with my bedroom. Instead of my bedroom being a cue for sleep, it had become a place for entertainment, work, and worry. Sleep psychologists call this sleep association. Your brain forms associations between environments and activities. Ideally, your bedroom should be strongly associated with sleep and relaxation, nothing else. I made a difficult but transformative decision. No more non-sleep activities in the bedroom. No TV. No laptop. No phone scrolling. No eating. Not even reading anything stimulating or stressful. The hardest part was the TV. I'd gotten used to falling asleep with the TV on, thinking it helped me relax. But research shows that screen time before bed actually delays the production of melatonin and stimulates your brain rather than relaxing it. For the first few nights without my bedroom TV, I felt restless and bored. But by the end of the first week, something magical happened. As soon as I walked into my bedroom and got into bed, my body started to relax automatically. My brain had relearned the association: bedroom equals sleep. This brings me to my final discovery: the importance of an evening routine. As a nurse, I worked rotating shifts that made consistent routines impossible. But in retirement, I could finally establish a regular sleep schedule and pre-sleep routine. I created what I call my sleep runway, a 60-minute countdown to sleep that helps my body and mind transition from day to night. It includes a warm shower or bath, which temporarily raises body temperature. When you get out, your temperature drops, mimicking the natural drop that triggers sleepiness. Gentle stretching focused on releasing tension in my shoulders, back, and hips, areas where we carry stress without realizing it. Dimming the lights throughout my house, not just in my bedroom, to signal to my brain that daylight is ending. A cup of caffeine-free herbal tea, chamomile or valerian root. Writing down tomorrow's to-do list to prevent my mind from trying to remember things as I'm falling asleep. And finally, 10 minutes of meditation or deep breathing in bed. This routine isn't rigid. Some nights it's shorter, some nights I skip elements, but the consistency helps trigger my body's natural sleep responses. By the time I turn out the light, I'm already halfway to sleep. The key insight here is that good sleep doesn't start when you close your eyes. It starts hours earlier with the choices you make throughout your evening. Looking back, I'm almost embarrassed by how long I struggled with sleep, without addressing these fundamental issues. As a nurse, I'd advise patients about sleep hygiene, yet somehow I'd blinded myself to the problems in my own bedroom. The changes I've described aren't complicated or expensive. Most cost nothing at all. Yet together, they transformed my sleep from a nightly struggle to one of the most enjoyable parts of my day. I now fall asleep within minutes rather than hours. I sleep through the night, and I wake feeling genuinely refreshed, something I hadn't experienced in decades. If you're struggling with sleep, I encourage you to look at your bedroom with fresh eyes. Not as the room you've become accustomed to, but as an environment that either supports or sabotages your sleep. Start with one change, maybe removing electronics, adjusting your temperature, or adding blackout curtains. Notice the difference, then build from there. Sleep isn't a luxury or an indulgence. As a nurse, I've seen how fundamentally it affects every aspect of health, from immune function to cognitive ability to emotional regulation. Prioritizing sleep is one of the most important health decisions you can make. The bedroom fixes I've shared today help me reclaim my sleep after decades of struggle. They might just help you too. Because sometimes, the solution to better sleep isn't another supplement or technique. It's simply creating an environment that works with your body's natural sleep processes, not against them. Sweet dreams, and thank you for listening to my story.